and now, listening to Carve. You and now, listening to Carve. You and now, listening to Carve. You and now.
Yeah, Carve Radio, the vibe too strong, the type you never could deny, whichever side you on. Yeah. That's why we writing these rhymes. These young niggas so in love with the shine. I still remind. We on it, it's my time. Yeah, I still remind.
Every day we on it, it's our time.
Carve Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Carve Podcast Series. I am Selepa Maifadi and today we're out at Universal Music Group Studios in Rosebank to have a chat with an amazing songstress who's about to drop her much anticipated follow-up album. Her name is Kelly Khumalo. Hi Kelly, how you doing?
Hi, it's for I'm good, how are you?
I think I'm hyped up because we had so many conversations before this actual recording.
I can imagine, yeah.
You know, energy already sits on fleek.
Good.
Firstly, congratulations on this album that you're about to drop. I mean, 15 years in the game and another album that you're dropping. How are you feeling about it? I mean, it's a day before it. Are you nervous about how people are going to receive it?
It's not so much about people. I have no doubt already. I think Mbini and Espambaneni and Tatara have set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And the album being on the charts in terms of iTunes and all the other digital platforms basically tells you where it's going. So I'm not really worried about how people are going to receive it. I'm mostly nervous about just the album dropping because at the end of the day, it is still a new album. Yeah.
And The Voice of Africa is such a strong title.
I know.
What does it mean to you?
I know. You know, I even pinched myself when I started working on The Voice of Africa. And I'm like, Kelly, do you really want to say The Voice of Africa? And I'm like, yeah, as if I'm not the voice of Africa, then who? You know, not just based on my vocal ability, but also narrating the African stories through music. And if you listen to The Voice of Africa, it just gives you a perfect picture of what it means to be an African, our stories, our heritage, our culture, everything that we've been through.
And I've seen you've been playing with that already with some of the references that you have with the images that you posted on Heritage Day as well as the references from the music video. Tell us a bit about that and how that reference came about and why you thought, okay, you know what, this is the look and feel I'm going to go with, because to some people they might be like, why are you painting your face black?
Why should I not paint my face black? Because at the end of the day, I am black, you know? But that's not the focus of the narrative. The narrative focuses on minerals that we own in the African continent, charcoal and gold. And if you look at the pictures, there's a lot of black
oil
and gold, the oil, all of that. And also if you look back to the Egyptian culture as well. There was a cat, a goddess that was called Goddess Bested, who used to be the warrior who protected the pharaohs back in the days. So all of that is part of telling the African stories. So I'm surprised when people are quick to say, why paint yourself black? Are we that insecure about our skin color to a point where we want to defend ourselves even when not necessary?
And also, it brings me to the sound, because at some part you have a gospel track, and then when you move this side, you have somewhat of an Afrofusion track. What would you say is the genre that encompasses this album?
I think soul encompasses the album, because if I were to say it's Afro-pop or it's just soulful music, because there's so much soul in it, whether it's an upbeat song, but there's still soul to it. And also just the lyrical content, it is just so beautiful.
Which must have taken like a long time to produce? Because, I mean, with all the history that you've mentioned and references that you've pulled in from Africa, what had to go? Like, no le mo di history bukung, no irahalang.
It's funny that did not happen because I'm a spiritual person. So sometimes I would do things that I do not understand, only get to understand them later. Because sometimes you get given things and you're like, okay, and you feel so passionate about this particular look and you don't know what it means. Only when you start researching and you're like, oh, so this is what I was being told. So the journey of understanding all these things started unpacking as I went along with the album. I did not had it all together. Obviously, before the album, I started putting together the album. It started unfolding as, I started doing the album.
And what's your creative process? Do you find the beat first and find the lyrics, or do you come with the lyrics and the beat finds you?
It's always different. Sometimes it starts with the lyrics, or sometimes it starts with the music, the rhythm, or a tune. Sometimes you just get into studio and decide, okay, let's do this. What do we do? So it all just depends. So with this album, Mointly was more hands-on because I've written songs for so many years. I just wanted to experience myself from a different perspective, from someone else's perspective. I just wanted to see how Mointly saw me as an artist, see how Msaki saw me as an artist. And it's amazing to experience.
So speaking of, who are some of the other people that you've invited into studio to work on this album, like some collaborations in there?
I have Hlengiwe Mhlaba, I have Montli, and I also worked with Msaki as well. Yeah.
So they all have individual singles in the songs in the album.
Msaki produced Undithathe Rancinci. Montli produced the entire album because I really wanted him to. And then Hlengiwe featured in the gospel song.
So that's the only feature you have?
I'm very pedantic about, I'm a spiritual person. I don't just go according to, oh, this person is all hyped up and then I want to go with the hype. I go with what the Spirit says, where I'm being led to.
And we've seen you dabble a lot into gospel. Would you say you're a gospel artist?
No, I'm just an artist who can also sing gospel.
But when was the first time that you realized that, okay, now I'm being moved by the Spirit into everything else that I create?
Ever since I started in the industry, it has been a spiritual thing. But also, maybe let me correct that part. It only became clearer, I think a couple of years ago. I think with the past, the present, the future, I started seeing things being very spiritual. And obviously with all the years, I continued to discover my spiritual side, which led me to where I am now.
And when you say that with most of what you're singing is based off and that you're happy that now someone else is actually doing the album and you're seeing yourself from another perspective. For most of the songs that you have been releasing had been kind of like a ode to what had been going on in your life.
Most of it, but this album has nothing to do with me and my feelings.
You're not in your feels.
No.
And how does that feel for you?
Beautiful.
To be seen.
It scared me in the beginning because I'm always in my feels. I want to write about what I feel. But I've said so much as far as my feelings are concerned. I'm at the point where I'm good. I'm happy. I'm comfortable, And for the first time, can I just hear what other people have to say? I am good with just being that woman in the corner who watches everybody yapping and yapping. It's good.
And speaking of how you were in your fields, I mean, we've seen so many emotional things through television with the reality series that you have. And it was just so enlightening that you got to share so much of your life with people. What made you take that decision to say, I'm doing a reality show, and with this one,
But
I'm going to
it's
be
called
blunt.
a reality show.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to show who you really are, then why is it called a reality show? I am a woman of my word. So if it's a reality show, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Give you who I am, unless it's called something else, and then we'll have to look at other options. Yeah.
But obviously, you had to break down some of the episodes and say, are there moments in there that you felt like, this is too much for the public to take? Maybe let's not put this.
That's the thing. I don't do things for the public. I do things for me. And I was comfortable throughout everything I was part of in my reality show because it was my reality. So it was never, in fact, I forgot that people existed. I just walked my journey.
And obviously, for most parts of it, there has to be intent, When the opportunity came, was it like, okay, the check looks great, let's take it for that? Or was there
It's
a
not
deeper
about
meaning to it?
let's go for it. This, we can take this. No, this is my life. This is what's happening. There's no reverse, pause, for fast forward. This is what's happening in my life. So if my life is going at left, it means we are going left. So I don't brainstorm a reality show, because if you brainstorm it, then what's real about it?
Yes, that I hear. But then what's the intention that made you agree to say, okay, I'm comfortable with opening my life to the world, even though you're doing it for yourself?
I've always been comfortable with my life. I've always been comfortable with my reality. The only thing that maybe you guys did not understand is how comfortable I am based on things that have been said about me. And also based on not knowing me. I've been very comfortable. I still am comfortable with my life. So whether it's on television or off television, I will continue to be the very same person I am now. So it just did not take me, it did not need a decision. It's like, okay, we're shooting a reality show. Great. Let's keep it rolling. That's how it was.
Should we expect another season of it?
It would be nice, based on the fact that the reaction from the people was quite amazing. It became the most amazing reality show. And the reviews from the people, oh my God. And also the impact that it made, especially on women. I'm very passionate about women. Anything that empowers a woman, I'm for it. And I would like to see another season based on that, because a lot of women were empowered. A lot of women were motivated to be themselves, to not shy away from their reality. So I would like to actually see another season of Life with Kelly Khumalo based on that.
Do you think that in there you might be unpacking more narratives about like your experience with domestic violence, and that, you have been part of some organizations that lend to giving more information, or rather helping other women out in that regard? Because, when we look at GBV right now in South Africa, not only did the president say COVID is a pandemic, but even this thing,
this is a pandemic.
Yes.
That's what I've always said. And I think me having experienced gender-based violence and finding myself and finding my voice and owning that story and sharing it somehow empowers women out there, or even men too, because gender-based violence is not just directed to females. There are men out there that go through the same thing that women go through. It's just that maybe society never shines the light on that. So having someone like me in the limelight addressing such issues changes the narrative, and also just propels even the people in high places to do something about it. Yeah.
And when you speak about just women in general, and how passionate you are about women, in your series, in your reality show, we got to see so many moments, that the good and the bad moments that you have had with females within your family. Like if there's anything to take out from that. And when I saw a clip that said, no one is asking you really if you're okay, And I think I'd like to ask that. How are you? Are you okay?
Are you even asking?
I am. I really am asking from a deep place, like from what I saw when it came to that series.
I would have appreciated, not to say I don't appreciate this question roundabout now. I would have appreciated it then when I needed it. Right now, I'm a butterfly. I'm at my best. I'm happy. And also, me being happy required me to make certain decisions in my life and cutting certain people out of my life and also being selfish about me. It starts and it ends with me. So I'm in a very good place.
So, do you want us to get into the relationships topic?
What relationship?
Because you last year we saw you have a song with your ex-husband.
It is close.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves this platform except Kelly Khumalo. No family member, no ex, no publication, no one deserves this moment except for Kelly Khumalo.
I love that. That is such a great answer. Did you about that? Because I know how you go on interviews, and I've noticed how you can answer so sleekly about
It's not
things.
slick. It's I'm not being slick. I'm being truthful. I protect this. It is all about me. And also what I've learned is that people would interview you and ask you about certain things to push ratings for their shows, to make themselves seem like, yeah, I'm cutting edge, I'm important. I was able to ask Kelly Khumalo such questions. It doesn't work with me because I see right through all of that. So you will not bring me into your show to look good at my expense. It doesn't work like that. I'm here for Kelly, and I do everything that supports Kelly. Anything that doesn't support her.
Well, we know that right now you have a gin that's out. Tell us about that. What made you say, let me go for gin? Why not vodka?
I don't like vodka.
Okay.
And also, I've liked gin, but not that much. It was just a business opportunity. And also, I've always wanted to do or to have a business outside of music, to build a legacy for my children outside of music. So, and when that gin, opportunity presented itself, and I just grabbed it.
And, COVID has came and literally disrupted the scene for so many things. What did it mean for pushing your alcohol based on the strategies that you'd have? Had that put to be on pause, and what can we expect from you picking up from what you had intended to do before the COVID came?
COVID owes me money. I always say this, and I'll forever say this. Young kolota. They must pay me back. It did affect the alcohol business, humongously so. And the plans that my team and I had for Controversy, we had to put stuff on hold. And we were in talks with a lot of distributors. But how do you talk to distributors when you can't distribute? It is only now that we are, slowly going back to things and reaching out to more distributors. And hopefully by December, we would have reached enough distributors in terms of just having Controversy across the country.
Why that name? If I can, so. You'll be controversial after
you will be, that's for sure. You will be, that's for sure. And also, Kelly has always been seen as the controversial artist, musician or media personality. So I was like, so if you are going to call me that, I might as well use that to my advantage, So that's how the name Controversy came about.
How do you deal with that? Because I feel like so many people love to hate you. And, there's so many people who are like being bullies and saying so many bad things to you on social media.
I don't have to deal with something that has nothing to do with me.
So you mean how do you win?
I did say that. Just for the feel, just for, for volume. Just for volume. But in all sense, it has showed me how broken people are. how hurt people are. Because as a bully, it's not so much about who you are bullying. It's so much about you. You are reflecting, you are telling us what you are feeling and who you are. And I've realized how sad and hurt and miserable people are.
No, you're stronger than me. Definitely nanangaskon.
It is a choice. And also, when you've been given so much wisdom, like me, you see right through people. And you learn to let it go, forgive them, and feel sorry for them because you're like, oh, wow, I did not know how hurt and how sad and miserable you are. So it's a choice. It's not about being strong. We choose who we want to be, and we choose what we want to affect us. So it is all a choice. People will say things at all times, but whether it affects you or not, it is your choice.
Speaking of things affecting you, I heard somewhere when you spoke about how the passing of Robbie Malinga is still something that is so like painful for you. You know, how are you with that healing, and you know, how are you finding ways to continue?
I've decided the show must go on, and it will forever hurt. And what I've learned with loss is that you don't get over it. You learn to live with it. So I am slowly learning to live with it. I mean, being in studio without Robbie was weird. I mean, achieving all these things without Robbie was weird because he was always there to say, oh, I'm so proud of you, you know? Now I know he is proud of me wherever he is. So I've just learned to just keep it going.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, when it comes to spirituality, you know, I know that you have gospel music, but then there was also like traditional healing processes that you might have gone through. Is that like, where does your spirituality stand?
My spirituality is very open. I cannot be boxed. I've learned that, you know, spirituality is like rivers that lead to the ocean which is God. So unless it's something dark and evil, then I have a problem. But I've learned to embrace all kinds of spirituality: Hinduism, Muslim, Buddhism, Ubungoma. I've learned to embrace all of that. So I'm just an open person when it comes to spirituality.
Which must have been, or it's a continuous journey that you
It's
have
an
to
endless
be in.
journey. And you know, growing up, you know, when you grow up from a Christian family, they try to box you into this particular spirituality. And it's nice, it's okay. But now I've outgrown that. I've hit the ceiling as far as that's concerned, and I've chosen my own path. So I can't be told to choose that and not choose that. I am just an open person when it comes to spirituality.
Is this what we're going to feel in the Voice of Africa?
Let's talk about gospel and ubungoma as well. I mean, if you listen to Genyugela, you can hear this woman has, you know, that spirit has that power that comes from a gift of ancestors. And even when you listen to gospel, that gift is still there, you know. I am a very connected person when it comes to spirituality.
So can we expect a live concert or like a one-man show like what you've done before in 2020? Okay, I don't know.
2021
maybe?
Definitely, round about March. We're still busy with that. And we are going to be launching TVOA in November. And yeah.
So many people decided to just not really do much in the COVID lockdown, but you managed to shoot a reality show. What are the challenges of actually doing that because of like that fear that everybody had, like that anxiety? You know what? Extreme.
Well, the production company that handles Life with Kelly Khumalo is an extremely responsible production company, extremely cautious as well. We had a nurse on site for every scene, all the time, day in, day out. We had masks. We had sanitizers on site. Sanitizers on site. So we were taken care of. As much as I'm that person who's very weary of, germs and viruses and whatnot, but I was taken care of.
Is it a coincidence, Hore, your besties are also really good musicians? Do you have tracks with them?
We actually are working on a song together that we will release next year. I don't think it's so much about the music. The music is an icing on the cake. I found my sisters, Spiritually, we get each other, And as sisters, we get each other. So it's more of a relationship more than us being in the industry together.
Wow. I really appreciated your time and you speaking to us.
Yeah.
Also, how many tracks are on the album?
It's 8 tracks.
8 tracks on the album. Love the storyline that you have going on. It's amazing that you're lending so much of it to Africa. Yeah. I really hope that maybe in Africa there will be more.
I'm not even lending it. Yeah. It belongs to Africa. It's the same thing that, in fact, I want us to forget that mentality of lending things. That's why we don't own our minerals. We don't own our culture. We don't own our heritage because we always feel like, if Beyonce comes and does this, we celebrate it more. But why can't we take the very same thing that reflects on who we are and own it? It belongs to Africa. I belong to Africa. My gift and everything that I am belongs to Africa.
She belongs to Africa. Her album is coming out tomorrow on the 9th of October. Do go and check it out. I mean, it will obviously be available on all digital platforms. We just had an amazing sit down with Kelly Khumalo. I'm one, lovely. Thank you so much for sitting with us on Carve Africa. Really appreciate the time and congratulations once again.